What if the very thing meant to save the US dollar could end up hurting Bitcoin? That's the paradox unfolding right now as Donald Trump throws his full weight behind crypto, calling it the relief valve for America's currency. But market data tells a different story, and if Trump's right, it could completely reshape how Bitcoin behaves in the global economy. Welcome back to The Crypto Loop, your go-to source for understanding the fast-changing world of digital finance and crypto politics. Today, we're diving into Trump's bold statement that crypto takes a lot of pressure off the dollar, and why that idea, while headline-grabbing, could have unintended consequences for Bitcoin investors everywhere. At Miami's America Business Forum on November 5, 2025, former President Donald Trump stood before thousands of business leaders and declared that under his leadership, the United States would become the Bitcoin superpower and the crypto capital of the world. He credited his administration's executive orders with ending what he called Washington's war on crypto, a sharp contrast to the Biden era's enforcement-heavy approach that left many industry figures, in his words, under indictment. Trump framed his stance not just as a regulatory shift, but as an economic strategy, suggesting that embracing crypto could ease strain on the US dollar while securing America's dominance in both blockchain and artificial intelligence, where he claimed the US leads China by a lot. But here's the catch. While Trump sees crypto as a relief for the dollar, the markets tell a more complicated story. Historically, Bitcoin has moved inversely to the US dollar index, with a correlation of about 0.7. Simply put, when the dollar strengthens, Bitcoin usually falls, and when the dollar weakens, Bitcoin tends to rise. We saw this pattern clearly during the Fed's tightening cycle in 2022, when the dollar index hit 114 and Bitcoin crashed from $47,000 to below $17,000. Conversely, during the easy money era of 2020 and 2021, a weaker dollar fueled Bitcoin's rally to record highs near $64,000. So if crypto really does take pressure off the dollar, that might mean fewer tailwinds for Bitcoin's price. In other words, the stronger the dollar becomes, the less incentive investors have to seek refuge in digital assets. Academic research backs this up, showing Bitcoin's movements are often out of sync with the dollar, rising and falling in different cycles, more like a risk asset than a safe haven. Meanwhile, Washington's interest in building a strategic Bitcoin reserve is growing. Senator Cynthia Lummis recently called it the only path to offset America's massive $35 trillion debt. The Treasury is reportedly exploring how to leverage over 130,000 BTC already seized from criminal cases, worth roughly $34 billion, without spending new taxpayer money. At the same time, Trump's son Eric is promoting stablecoins as the next great tool to save the US dollar through a project called World Liberty Financial's USD1 token. The idea: attract trillions of global dollars into US markets. Critics, however, warn of potential conflicts of interest, since the stablecoin law signed earlier this year includes no guardrails preventing presidential families from benefiting directly. Recent market data underscores just how delicate this dollar-Bitcoin dance really is. Stronger than expected U.S. economic numbers in late September sent the dollar index surging, while Bitcoin sank below $111,000. The same happened this week when upbeat payroll and service data pushed the dollar to a 5-month high, stalling Bitcoin's rebound above $103,000. Traders describe the market mood as buy the dip, sell the rip. Quick profits, little conviction, and a constant tug-of-war between a firm dollar and a restless crypto market. And while the US currency flexes its strength, others are crumbling. Turkey's lira just hit a record low of 42 per dollar, marking a 97% drop since 2010. As one analyst put it, they'll keep adding paper as long as people keep believing it has value. So, can crypto really relieve pressure on the dollar? Or is it just setting up the next big contradiction in global finance? One thing's for sure, Trump's endorsement has reignited the crypto conversation at the highest levels of power. Whether it lifts Bitcoin or limits it, the world is watching closely. If you found this breakdown useful, hit that like button, subscribe to The Crypto Loop, and ring the bell so you never miss the stories shaping the future of money. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and keep looping in.